What is going on YouTube? Hayden here, and in today's episode we are going to be looking at Solana, XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Vong, and the Russell 1000. You guys had mentioned, somebody left a comment in yesterday's episode thinking that the head and shoulders pattern had ended in April, which again, I'm not seeing because even here is June. So talking about April goes all the way back to here. That makes zero sense. How and in what way could this have ended in April? Because that would have meant this is being the first shoulder, here's the head, and that would have ended. Are we looking at something like this? This is a possibility, but I don't think that that's accurate at all. I more so think what we have right now is considered that head and shoulders pattern on XRP. So we're going to be going over that a little bit later on in today's video. Either way, we're still in a beautiful descending fractal. Could be that second shoulder that we're looking for here with the neckline. It still applies, so we'll see how exactly that moves. But we're also going to be looking at Solana, which you can see here is in some sort of descending fractal as well. And I do think there's something very small forming here, which we'll zoom in on. Ethereum in its sort of sideways channel here, ascending broadening wedge. I'm not entirely sure. Bitcoin is still in its uptrend. Vong is seeing a major explosion to the upside in the pre-day trading from 104 to 105.94. Insane run all the way up quite a substantial bit. It's actually pretty phenomenal. And the S&P 500 is probably going to be doing the same thing. So very interesting to say the least. And we do have a lot to go over and look at. So before we dive into today's video, I want to give a huge shout out to DLMM METEORA for sponsoring today's episode. You can earn 0.9% daily on your Solana and USDC. Super cool. Rewards every single day and instant withdrawals anytime. More information will be later on in today's episode, but definitely make sure to check them out with the link down in the description. And if you haven't already, smash that like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and let's get right into today's episode. Hey everyone, real quick before we dive into today's video, I want to shout out the sponsor of this episode, and this one's actually a pretty cool project. We're building a decentralized system that automatically provides liquidity on DLMM METEORA, specifically in the Solana USDC pair. You can check it out at DLMM.app, and the link is in the description below. Now let me show you how it works. Once you're on the site, you just connect your wallet, whatever you're using on Solana. I'm using MetaMask, and you'll see this dashboard where you can deposit into the Solana USDC pool. It's super straightforward. You choose how much Solana and USDC you want to deposit and confirm. After that, the smart contract takes over. It automatically allocates your liquidity in the most efficient way possible using dynamic concentrated liquidity strategies. So instead of you constantly monitoring charts or adjusting positions, it's all hands off. You earn while you sleep. And as you can see, I already have funds in my account. This way I can show you how the yield works. Here's the exciting part. Let's go ahead and claim some interest. Just like that, rewards hit your wallet. No staking and no complicated farming UI. This is all done automatically from the trading fees collected in the pool. You're earning Solana and USDC totally decentralized. And the best part, the contract doesn't just park your funds in a static range. It actively moves your liquidity based on market conditions, which helps maximize returns without you doing anything. It's like having your own automated market maker, but smarter and way easier to use. So if you're holding Solana and USDC and want to earn passive income without needing to be a DeFi expert, this is worth checking out. So head over to DLMM.app, connect your wallet, and just explore it. Big thanks again though to the team behind the project for sponsoring this episode and for pushing the space forward with real utility on the Solana blockchain. Now let's get back into the main video. So guys, before we dive into the technical analysis, remember on the CMC, trading at 48 on the fear and greed, the lower we go, the better. I'll be honest with you. The lower we head on this fear and greed chart, the lower we head into this area or this area, the more potential we have for expecting to see runs and rallies to the upside. So I'm very excited to see us lower ourselves, get closer to the fear level here, because that means there's a lot more upside and a lot more potential to see a run back to to higher levels, which would be phenomenal if you ask me. But as you guys can see, you can start to see consolidation. We're down 4 to 11% across the board here on most of these major cryptocurrencies. Consolidating down certainly looks good. Volume is slowly trickling out, and that to me means we're getting very close to seeing breaks back to the upside eventually. talk more about that in a second. Yesterday, we said, I know what's next for XRP. The wait is almost over. Massive signals, as you can see, forming this major ascending broadening wedge here as we start to consolidate. There's no shortage of new fractals, and that's what's exciting here. There's zero shortage of seeing new technical indicators. We have, like we've always said, for a long time now, I still firmly believe we are, unless you want to prove me wrong, shoot me an email, cryptotvofficial@gmail.com, of a different chart where you can discredit and say that we've officially confirmed breaching this XRP, head and shoulders pattern here. I am a strong believer that we are still well within this, and we are still completing our second shoulder here. You can clearly tell that we are inside another bull flag, though. That's excellent. I don't think you guys will disagree with that, with this lower high, lower low pattern as we fill in this gap here. There might even be some sort of uptrend like that. Maybe if I jump closer to the 4 hour, you can see this. Maybe there's a smaller sort of, and with a grain of salt here, some sort of smaller uptrend that's slowly pulling us higher. Certainly possible. I'll leave it on for the short term, but this could scale us higher inside the beautiful bull flag descending fractal here, slowly lowering ourselves back down, heading to the downside here. As we fill this in, again, if we do fill this in, we will be retested by the moving average and price ceiling, this downtrend here. If we breach through this and head up and breach this previous high of $2.59 on XRP, that, in my opinion, would confirm that we are out of the bull flag, but are out of the head and shoulders. But until then, we look bearish. And as you guys can see, we have a clear sell-off neckline here. This is it. We breach this floor, we are going down, and we are going down fast. Very low, to be honest with you, to be quite frank. So pay very close attention to neckline, pay very close attention to price ceiling. When either of those get breached or retested, that's when we can consider buying in. If we reject here, we could take a short opportunity or a long opportunity. It really depends on where these markets are going to be moving to. But this will fill in June 23rd. So just a couple of days left before we get that decision-making time. Solana looks good as well. You can see Solana is forming some descending fractal. And again, similar to, XRP, I almost noticed that there's a chance we could draw another one of these little itsy-bitsy uptrends like that. And you can see similarly with the past year that it's another higher low pattern. As we slowly start to scale higher, you can see us inside of here. So again, good chance we could fill in this gap here. This bull flag certainly looks bullish in my opinion here, but anything can happen. We can easily reject down and fall lower and continue to scale to the downside here, or we'll retest moving average. We confirm that, we can see a long position. So either we have multiple opportunities here. We need confirmation. There'll be ample time to get in on these trades once we confirm the overall general direction that these cryptos want to move to here. So for right now, intra trading inside of here is just too risky for us or for me. So I'm waiting for us to get that clear signal for the buy-in for a long or a short position here before we take advantage of it. The good thing is we have a beautifully drawn out technical indicator, so it'll be very easy to determine when that buy-in is. You can see when we confirm closure below this uptrend here, we knew to short, and just like that, huge dump to the downside here. So there are ample opportunities to take advantage of this. We're just waiting to see how we react. Same thing goes with Ethereum here, ascending broadening wedge. If we dip below supports here, we're going to see a huge sell-off and a huge correction. But again, we're still inside this beautiful ascending broadening wedge, so we need us to patiently scale it out, fill in the gap, and then leave us with that decision. Bitcoin, very similarly, has this beautiful ascending broadening wedge or some sort of uptrend here. We're retesting the support. I think we could just slightly pull this down if we wanted to make a little bit of sense here. But again, still inside here, still holding on for dear life on the support. If that gets breached, which I do think it will as we start to retest what is all-time highs, which is insane. That was all-time highs, 111. We could see a sell-off and a correction here, a dip in the markets. Vong similarly looks really good. And like I said yesterday, if you didn't catch us in yesterday's episode, history is kind of repeating, or at least it wants to. In previous times, this goes back all the way to December and January. We were consolidating even into February inside at all-time highs in this fractal that we created here, this sideways channel. So we have finally broken through it, which is insane. And here we are, hopefully going to consolidate as well. And this time we can consolidate down. Instead of falling, we'll be able to consolidate and break out as I've drawn here. So I do believe we're going to start to experience a lot of this here. But I do think we were nearing overbought. You can see we're trading at one point at, I think it was 69. Now we're back down to 58. So certainly have potential to expect this run to the upside here. But we need to be just a bit more patient, and then we'll get the results that we're looking for here. But overall, I think the markets look phenomenal and exceptional. And it really just comes down to a waiting game for some of these cryptocurrencies for us to make in on trades. But if you want to take advantage of it short term, even much shorter, wait for like XRP to fill in up until the 23rd. That's like 4 to 5 days or earlier. And if we breach this blue line we drew, then we can buy in for a short. It's pretty much that simple. We'll leave it on the 4 hour just to make it a little bit easier to understand, and that would get us into a more riskier position to short to the downside. But with that being said, smash the like button, turn on post notifications. Huge shout out to METEORA for sponsoring today's episode. Make sure to check them out with the link down in the description below, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.